What is up, guys? We got the 6.0. I want to say tore apart, but kind of tore apart already. As you can see, we got the trans lines out because it blew a trans line on the first drive yesterday. And then I looked after blew trans line, and we made it to my buddy's house, Dalen's. It wouldn't start for some reason, so I looked at all the troubleshooting codes in the edge, which I'll show you. But one of them was for the crankshaft position sensor, which I'm working on right now. As you can see, we're down here, and that right there, that sensor, low-key looks like it's covered in red. That one, maybe I can zoom in on it. That sensor right there is a crankshaft position sensor. And then there is a nut and a stud right there. And that holds on to that hole right there. So how I'm getting it off is to do that. Take that stud off, and then that's an 8mm right there. Take out the 8mm and put the new sensor in. And then we got the two trans lines that run right here all the way down, and then go up there into the trans. And then when you buy them, it comes in a set. So you get both sets. But the dumb part about these trans lines is there's fittings on the ends. They have these fittings, and then this tool is supposed to go and slide into there, but it is kind of a you-know-what. So I've been messing with this and that sensor. The sensor's almost out, so I'll probably finish doing that and then see if I can get that fitting off. If I can't, go ask my neighbor, he's a mechanic too. And then, yeah, I'll get that fitting off and then put the trans lines on, fill it with trans fluid, and then rip it around again. All right, guys. Sort of an update after the fact. We have replaced the, transmission lines. So you can see that one, and they run all the way up there. Replaced the transmission lines, and I was going to replace the fittings because I don't know if the lines are in all the way, but we're just going to send it because they don't want to come out. And then we have to adjust my fuel pressure. Sorry, right now it's at 75 and I don't have my key, but actually Jeremy's key might work because he left it in here. Let's see. It does not, but on the screen it will tell us 75 when the key's on, and then I can adjust this and see what it is at. So let me grab the key. Now that we grab the key, we turn key on, wake up the edge. Right now you can see if it loads. It is at 75 psi. Let's take this and back this off after we find out what size it is. Too big. Too small. We gotta go grab a different size. Okay, I lied. Actually, I have the size right here. So, let's take this out. Loosen the nut if we can. This is hard to do one-handed. Hopefully this is the right way. Then is now at 73, so we're going the right way. but we gotta get down to 65. So let me do this a couple times and get to 65. We're gonna give another random update. We took the grill off and we have been charging the batteries. It's been slow cranking recently. So, as you can see, I bought a brand new 6.4 starter. And 6.4 starters bolt right up to 6 liters, so easy upgrade. They're way faster and all around better. And then I was cleaning the wheels so I can sell them for Drake. And then we have the Harley grill, and I bought these billet inserts, which that's how those are gonna sit since it's a Harley truck, flames. And then there's more like this one. Now I low-key thought about doing something like this if I can like put it behind the back or something, but no clue how that's gonna look. But I should just show you my idea actually. These are stainless steel, but the back side isn't polished up, but the front side is. But my idea, since I've never seen anyone do this before, put that, if I can slide it in, do something like that, and then just cut off the other sides and do something like that, because I've never seen anyone do that before. And then there's other pieces to this, and I'll put them in each side. I put those in there, and then I got the 2 pieces, and I just think that's different. Nobody's done it before. I haven't seen anyone do that before with the flame inserts in the bumper. Have seen the flame grill inserts, but not the bumper. So just like the 7.3, they can like match but barely be different, because this one will have billet inserts, but they'll be flames instead of the lines like the 7.3 is. So we're gonna put these billet inserts in, and then today I went to buy a ICP from Ford because O'Reilly's doesn't carry a Motorcraft one. So went to the dealer, went to the parts section, and he gave me it. And then I'm walking out the door, I'm looking at it. I sat down in the car, looking at it, I'm like, this don't look right. It definitely was not right. Looked up the part number, and it said it was an oil switch. And looked at part numbers, they were not even close. So I went back, and he blamed it on the guy who pulled the part at South County Ford instead of Waterloo Ford, because the Waterloo Ford guy ordered it from O'Reilly's, not O'Reilly's, from the South County Sunset Ford. So don't really care, just have to get the right part tomorrow. But we're gonna put these billet inserts in, and on the grill, put the grill back on. I need to change that blinker on the driver's side because it is burnt out, at least the running light is. So we're gonna put these billet inserts in, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Little update, instead of putting these down here, can't really see it the best right now, but put them in the grill. We knew I was gonna put these in here, which they look pretty good. And then the other ones, I think they actually turned out pretty decent. It'd kind of be cool if I get 2 more of these long ones and put them in here and here, but I think that might be a little too much. So you can still like see the Harley grill, but then like Harley grill, but then you also get the inserts. I don't know. I think it looks decent. I don't see many people do it. Actually, nobody. Then I was talking to CMS, and hopefully do something about getting ones to mount in here, so we can do billet inserts and billet inserts, just like that. So matchy and matchy. I think it'd be pretty cool. And then I'm gonna end up doing a metal valance down there to match the 7.3, and then the badges are gonna be really similar. I want the trucks to be very, very similar, but just a little different too. Like we'll get the belt inserts, and then we'll have the red valance. We got the 17 plus mirrors. And then when we go to shows, this truck will have the 26x16 wheel trans. And then that truck will have the 24x14 trans. Clear headlights. The exact same painted taillights. Same stickers on the back, probably. Try and get these to be the same. Well, paint them, and I'll get the chrome ones for here. I need to buy them. And then these are the platinum billet handles. We'll do that and that on these instead of the chrome caps. These will be this will be the billet, because you can see that's fake. And then I don't know if I've been thinking about those chrome pieces and finding a set of stainless smooth ones and then putting them here, and then do the stainless here, and then do the diamond plate on there. Probably do something similar with the track bars maybe, because this truck for sure needs it bad. And then yeah, I don't know, but can't wait for both of these trucks to come along. Can't wait for the ZF6 and rust to be all fixed. And I low-key want this truck fully painted, but it's time to go home. Well, not home, because we're home, but go to the girlfriend's house and go to sleep. I'll see you guys in the next clip. All right, we got the grill in, as you can see. Both sides. And then I like these, and I might buy those, because then we can get them to fit in there. And then have like the full flame grill look. I think they look pretty decent. And then we just pulled out my ICP right here. Got the new one, so hopefully we put this in. That bad boy will finally crank and run right. So I guess let's screw this one in. As you can see right there, it goes in right in that hole. And it's a 15/16 or a 24 mil. Gonna wipe that out and then clean it up and tighten it. And yeah. All right, the ICP new one is installed. And let's go find out if this girl starts up. Put the key in. We're gonna wait. Oh, edge is already plugged in. Wake her up. Roll down the window, even though it's not gonna roll down all the way for some stupid reason. And maybe. Hasn't been starting in a couple of days, but we're gonna see. Might have to put the battery charger on her. I don't know why it would go from starting to not starting. But let's go look at the IPR. All right, back at it again, fixing a junk 6-liter. And in this part, we are replacing the IPR. So I grabbed a couple of different ratchets, but it seems pretty simple. This is the new one from Motorcraft. Normally $500 and like $8, but luckily, because the last time I bought a part at the Ford Sunset, they messed it up and gave me the wrong part the first day, so then I had to go back the second day. So he gave me discount the second time. But if we look down here, which is gonna be really hard to tell, I'll try and sneak you in. I don't know if you can really see, but if you watched the videos before where I was putting the engine together, the IPR screws into that top cover. It had like a silvery thing on it. So we're gonna be taking that out with the socket. It fits, as you've seen, you just wiggle that out, fits like that, goes around the sensor, makes your life 10 times easier. So we're gonna try and get this out before nighttime. Don't know if it's gonna fix it. To be honest, it probably won't because I still have a crankshaft code, so I don't know, but we're gonna take it out real quick and see. Alrighty, we got the socket on there and I have it loose. It would be a lot easier to take off my turbo cover, but since I don't have my coolant reservoir either, I can fit my hand through like that way or stink it through there. But we got it loose. And I seen a video on YouTube that it's possible to do the same thing without removing anything. So just a little pain. He did it with a 1/4 inch ratchet and then adapted to 3/8 and got it off that way. That has a swivel, just like this one. But we're gonna get that out and put the new one in. All right, the old IPR is out. As you can see, there's some stuff inside that screen, but this is the new one. Let's pop this cover off. Give me a second. This is the new one, covered in oil as it should be, and then go ahead and insert this one. And yeah. All right, so update on the 6.0. This is the old pigtail for the ICP, and here's the new one. Comes in a kit. If you want the part number, give me a minute. That is the part number. And this is the old one. The reason I'm replacing this is because this hack job was done already by somebody that I noticed. But also, so the truck will not start with this, the ICP plugged in. It will start with the ICP unplugged though, but it will not start if it's plugged in. Unplugged, it starts right up. So, got pigtail. Gonna make sure that is all in correctly and it's done right. Plug it in and hopefully it starts with the ICP plugged in. And then hopefully start driving this thing. Hope this fixes it, but I've done a starter, I've done the IPR, I've done the ICP, done the crank sensor, so I don't know. I'm gonna put this in and see. All right, we got the ICP sensor wired in. I guess we're gonna go find out if she starts with it plugged in. Oh, let me clean the camera. All right. Key is on. We'll hit the edge. Get the stuff set up. And no. Try her again, I guess. I don't know. What is up, guys? We are, well, as you see in the last clip, we're messing with this jumble wires and it needs a harness because when the truck was running, just shaking the harness would make the entire truck just like shut off. And yeah, so I'm gonna throw an engine harness on this once that comes in. But Show Me Chaos is this weekend, and I'm gonna try and make it as long as this engine harness actually fixes it.
No.
I've already done a starter ICP, IPR, ICP pigtail, and that hasn't fixed it.
Nope.
So ordered a Motorcraft engine harness, and guess how much that is? $1,400. So hopefully that fixes the issue. Every time you just unplug the ICP, it would start and run just fine. But then plugged in, it would not, well, it'd run fine after you plugged in. If you started it after you unplugged it, it would start and run after that just fine. Ran and
Today, Junior!
drove just fine, but I haven't been able to drive it long enough. But we're gonna change the wheels over because those need to go on here, and since the 16s are pretty bald, those are newer. We're gonna throw those on here, hopefully. And
Nice.
And then, yeah, throw the 24s on, 6 liter again with the spacers. And then when I feel like getting dirty, I bought new fast filters, and that one is an old one. This is the new one, but this new one needs to go on here. But these are XL filters, so let me zoom in. XWS 3002 would be here because that's fuel water separator, but this filter needs to screw on over to right here. So this regular fuel filter is a fuel water separator. So I need to get that done. But we're gonna swap wheels real quick and then hopefully give this thing a bath this Friday. And in theory, we are gonna be driving it this Friday, getting the kinks worked out, hopefully. And finally make my first show with it in a long time. And got the batteries on the charger because they like to die after cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking. We will be wrapping the harness again with the stuff from the factory. And yeah, engine bay is not complete, but it's whatever. It's a work in progress. Trying to buy 26s. I don't know if that's gonna happen. We're gonna see. We're gonna speak into existence. I did buy 26s, and he's shipping them to here, but y'all have to stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's get these wheels swapped over. I'll show you before and after, unless it's too dark. All right, we got the other one on, as you can see. Well, the one on, as you can see. Definitely gonna look more show truck vibe. And this is with the spacers on. Literally like 3/4 of the wheel. Yes, I know the tires are on backwards. I don't really care, because that one does not have a bubble, and then there's one in the rear that does not have a bubble. So gotta put the ones that don't have bubbles on the front, the ones that do on the rear, because it's just safer that way. But let's get the rest of these on. All right, guys, picked up the new harness, as you can see. Wrapped are all good. We wrapped up the harness over the factory stuff, so I didn't even mess with it. As you can see, factory, just wrapped it over it. Even put the factory sticker over it. Wrapped the whole thing. Big, fat, thick, humongous thing. But we are going to install this. This PCM connector goes right here. There's this connector, which is that, which will be over there, and then this other one. And then we just get to follow everything and slap all those connectors in. And hopefully starts with the ICP. Yeah, it starts with it plugged in. And yeah, one thing I forgot to add too, it is also way easier. Just remove most of the stuff you can, like the fender liners and anything else you can actually like remove to help you see where everything goes. But if you're doing this on your truck, hopefully this helps you route everything right and do it kind of how the manufacturer had it. So good morning. We got the new harness in. Harness is fully routed, everything, made sure it's all plugged in. This one I believe is an old turbo sensor because it's the same as, not gonna pull that out, but it's the same sensor as those, which is the EAS that I added for the Edge. But harness is fully in and does the exact same thing. But kind of gave up on that since I'm still gonna be able to take the truck and put it on a trailer tomorrow. But I've been wanting to get this thing off, and if you look at it, you can see that, and then there's the other one, and then you look at the holes, it looks like there's a gap. So I saw a bolt and nut, I think, behind the wiper cowl, so I'm gonna take that off and then pop this clip out, and then hopefully pull this off, and there's nuts, and I can take this bracket off and it'll look way cleaner. And I can zip tie the harness up, trying to get this thing halfway decent, and then we're gonna wash her because she is filthy. Dalen's cousin was wiping fingerprints and mud and crap all over the bumper when it broke down, but yeah, I think it looks really good with the 24s and the 3-inch spacers, because I didn't update you, I don't think, with how that looked. But let me get that clip out and then see if there's bolts and how I'm gonna get that bracket off. All right, we got the bracket out. However, that is painted red, and that is not painted red, but still think it looks cleaner. I could probably touch that up with spray paint and then get this harness zip tied up, but I think that looks way better, and I just created a bunch more room. All right, this should be the end of this video, but the 6.0 is finally 95% fixed. Right now I am installing the glow plug harness. As you can see, kind of, I put a brand new harness in on this side because last night we finally got the truck tuned up. I'll tell you the problem. So we went into the tune, and finally, after I replaced the ICP IPR crankshaft position sensor and the wiring harness for the engine, obviously, I did all that in the last clips, and went to the tune. If I'll remember, I'll insert the clips, but they're not in the horizontal, so I might mess it up, I might not. So, but we had the tunes on, and we put it back in the stock tune. Put the stock tune back on the truck, and it started. And the main issue we were having was when the truck would get hot, the only way I could get the truck to start is to unplug the ICP sensor, which is the one that screws into the valve cover. And we were like, well, that's weird, because we replaced everything. And we transitioned it over to the stock tune file, and it started up cold, just like all the other tunes were. And then I let the truck run like I would every time, get temperature into it, and then it would start in the stock tune. All the other tunes, when it started, just crank, unplug the ICP sensor, starts right up. So like, all right, that's weird. And then finally I emailed the tuner. I was like, yo, this is my problem. And he's like, he didn't know what to do, kind of. He sent me a new tune file, and I downloaded it on the computer. Very simple to do. I should have showed you guys how to do that. But all you do is you plug the Edge into the cable that comes with the Edge. Plug it straight in from the computer with a USB into, I think, an Ethernet one right into the edge. It'll pull up files on your computer, and where it says like files, download, blah, 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 it'll say CTS3, and then it'll have folders underneath the CTS3. Drag the tune file he has from your email, download it from the email, drag it from the downloads just to the base. Don't drag it to any of the other folders underneath the CTS3. Just do it by itself. So then, did that. He sent me the new tune. It's the same way with all the tunes for this, but sent me the tune and he updated something because Edge sent them an update. Well, that didn't fix it. Did the same thing. I think the ICP pressures looked a little better, so I sent him the same thing. But my truck has worn diesel injectors in it, and he said he changes certain parameters for the injection, something maybe, but he changes them for Warren. So he's like, all right, let me take that away from the tune, and then I'll send you the new one. Download it on here and see. Well, I started up yesterday, and truck started normal, obviously. Got hot to like 130, which isn't hot, but got to 130, shut it off, started right back up. I was like, all right, perfect. I think I fixed it. Let it run more for to like 180. Shut off the truck, got in it, started right up. I was like, all right, I'm going to go take it for the first drive again. So I drove around the block, went down the hill, came back, whatever, did a whole loop. There's a school in my town. I parked in the parking lot, look under, and there is a oil leak just covering, I want to say oil leak, but oil covering the axle. And I was like, that's weird. Drove back here. I'm like looking around. Glow plug harness or cylinder 1 just was like popped out. I was like, all right, well, that's easy enough to replace. So I just bought 2 new harnesses from O'Reilly's. We're going to throw the one side in because it's super easy. And then this other side, I'll kind of show you what you got to do. They are super easy to take out, but you literally just pop all of these out like that. See? Oh, you did not see that. Like, see how that's way too easy? So I'm going to clean out there, but then it's also the new glow plug I put in. Since this side's super easy, obviously, without the fender liner, is going to take these out, put the new ones in. Actually, those are old ones. Put the new side in. I'm going to lube those O-rings. I didn't buy Motorcraft this time because I didn't feel like paying out the wazoo. But it helps if you have some brand new motor oil. And then I just dip my finger completely. And you want to make sure you lube the O-rings and then clean, like kind of wipe out that area. And then you have to push down pretty hard to, I wouldn't say pretty hard, but hard enough where you know it actually snapped in. And I'm going to throw this side in. I'll show you that. And then drive it around, make sure it's full in oil, and then hopefully we're good. I'm gonna take this off because it's not doing nothing. You need to buy a pipe for that, go down, and then tomorrow I'm going to my rock light guy, kind of, show you them. Girlfriend bought these off Amazon, and I'm gonna hopefully see wire them up. They're 36 LED. I have like 20 right now, but I'm gonna get more. I do not want shadows, obviously. That's kind of how the truck game is right now. No shadows underneath the truck. Then I have 2 8-inch subs and an amp underneath, well, not underneath, but behind the rear captains. There is my 2 8s behind the captains, so I'm gonna have him. Last time Tristan got that to work with them at the very first Show Me Chaos I went to with this truck when I owned it about a year ago. And they bumped pretty good, so I'm going to try and get him to fix all the sub work, get all the rock lights in. I just thought about this in my head. Right now, this is the battery setup, 1 and 1, but this side's starting to get cleaner. And right now, I don't really have a hold down for this because normally I guess it sits in the box. But I want this battery to get rerouted over here. So I just think it'll look cleaner with 2 of these over here. And then get brand new terminals. So then he can do that. And then the way I'm going to have the rock lights. These are the factory aux switches in this truck. Which are these. The problem with these only work with the key on. So, gonna have him wire those up properly. And yeah, get them wired up to where the aux switch is on, and then all the rock lights will be on. And we're gonna throw this harness in, take it for a spin, and hopefully we will drive it to my girlfriend's house and take a shower first, and then drive it tomorrow. And then cruising on Lindbergh is on Saturday, and we'll see if I make a YouTube video. If I record enough, we'll see. I do not know, but I'm gonna get this swapped out, and yeah, let's get this swapped out and then hopefully drive it and no issues. Good afternoon, YouTube. We are taking apart my turbo because she's a little chooched. When I put it together, I accidentally broke one of the turbine wheels, the very front, which I'll show you. But got really chooched after this weekend because I finally got it together, and of course I got on it pretty decent. And if I remember, or if I can finesse putting a clip in, it's not horizontal, so it's gonna look weird. I put it in, but the whine's super loud, and as you can see, good amount of play. So we took off the housing and the V-band clamp. I think it was like, this is for an S400, so 10 mil, and then, no, 11 mil, or 11 or a 13 mil, and then that's a 13 mil for the exhaust housing, and then this is an 11 mil, and then this was the 11 or 13. And then there is the oil feed slash, I want to say drain, actually. Yeah, maybe drain. So then that was a 14 millimeter or 9/16 just to the top. This down here is a 15/16, so we'll undo that. And then get the V-band clamp off the downpipe. Get this clamp off, so then we can take this out in 3 sections, because this is next to come out after that clamp is fully off. And then the exhaust housing off the downpipe. And then 15/16, and then I never put a bolt in that. I kind of just at least had that holding on, plus the V-band, which I just realized. Also gonna have to take off those, but I think I can get this part off first, and then get the nuts off of the Y pipe, which is why I have a 14 mil cut in half, because there's this side cut in half, and then there's the other half with the full round, forgetting what it's called. But so you can get those all off, and then yeah, we're gonna get this taken out and get it rebuilt. All right, so we just separated the middle section from the exhaust housing, as you can see. There is these little like tings right here all the way around, and you gotta make sure they are fully seated to this evenly. And as you can see, there's a couple that broken off. It's a used turbo, so it's whatever, I guess. I knew it was like that. But if these are not fully seated against the exhaust housing, it will leak oil. Ask me how I know. But yeah, we're gonna sneak this bad bitty up and out, hopefully. It's harder than it seems. And then the 4 nuts on the exhaust housing, and then yeah. I don't even know if I need to give them the exhaust housing, but we'll see. I'll ask a couple buddies, and yeah, because it's gonna have to come apart anyway, so we'll see. All right, here's the housing, exhaust wheel, turbine wheel, and then custom tool, obviously. If we can get up in here, and I'll turn the flash on. You can see the 4 turbo nuts we gotta get off, and that's the exhaust housing. I'm gonna give it to them with all that stuff, obviously, so they just have everything, and then they know it's a complete turbo. And yeah, so when it's a pain to get everything, all of these on, zoomed in for some reason. Hold on, there we go. All you gotta do is this, and then be able to get her off easier, unless I get another 14, but this is how you get the hard to reach ones on. What is up, guys? Well, we got the truck in the garage and everything. If you watched some, I don't remember what video it is, but I know you guys seen it. And then, new turbo is finally come in. This is the first time I'm actually unboxing it. I haven't opened it, obviously. And, yeah, we're gonna get this thing ripped up open and show you the new turbo. So, let's get this baddie unboxed. Alright, all the tape is cut, and of course there's a box inside of a box. So we got turbo, obviously. Probably some hardware, maybe? Let me pull this out real quick. Alright, turbo is out, and that is out. Gonna make you guys wait, unless I do this backwards on this turbo, because that one feels heavier, but this is how we're gonna do it. I'll just shut my way. And today is also Monday, October something. If you look in the week, it is the Monday before Fitzgerald's, so kind of hard to do this one-handed. Oh, there we go. But we gotta throw the turbo up in there. This is the not so cool stuff. Here we got V-band clamp. Actually give me a T4 exhaust gasket. And then that's the turbo, I guess. So we're actually gonna open this up. Sorry, you guys get to wait, so y'all can have the surprise factor if this shit will cut it. Maybe. God, dog. Please hold. Alright, so I got those off. Gonna just get this off one-handed, like that. Tear it open like it's Christmas. I really don't know what's in here. I just bought the turbo. So, yeah, let's get her all open. What is in here? I would hope the turbo's in here, not in there, but we'll see. Hey, it's only two. That'd be awesome. And oh, I was right. I don't know what's in there, but low-key looks like a turbo housing. Looks like they took it apart already. But here she is. Going to say this is the front or the rear. And that is the opposite. Let me I'll open this up and then get this off and actually show you the turbo. Alright. Here she is. It is a S472. We are going to get this power coated, but not before Fitzgerald's. We got the V-band clamp, obviously, and then we'll pull it out, show you the backside, and then undo that, which is probably the not compressor housing, exhaust housing, and center section, maybe. And I was right. This is the exhaust housing. As you can see, that's the T4 flange. Did a decent job of freaking wrapping it in bubble wrap. And undo this bag, maybe. We'll see. Here is the exhaust housing. as you can see. Probably matters which way is which, so I'm gonna have to make sure. But then we got this, and then obviously this will go straight into here, and we'll have a turbo. We first also have to put this on the downpipe, and then take off the compressor housing, and then put it on, because that's the only way they fit in and out of these 6.0s. So we'll get working on this tonight, get it done tonight, and flare out the garage. I'm gonna have to air up the tires because I aired them down, so made sure the roof cleared in here. But I also cleaned out all of these toolboxes and organized it. I'm organizing all these sockets right now, but we got wrenches, screwdrivers, and like odds and ends, Allen's, special sockets here, like lug nut socket, IPR socket, that's for trans lines. And I got kind of just get the gist of all the other stuff. Then we sorted wrenches I still gotta do. These are metric, these are standard. Then we got some flatheads, Phillips, Torx bits and special stuff. Got snap ring pliers. And then these two are empty. Oh, that's just some random stuff right now. And then like hose clamps. We got stuff to get on and off hoses, sawzall blades, random stuff, scissors, markers, tool clips. And we got like more random stuff, kind of. Cotter pins, helicoils, tap, sealant, zip ties, because you always need zip ties. And then wiring, so we got different types in here. We got fuses, butt connectors, heat shrink, lighter for the heat shrink, 4 different types of wire strippers and crimpers. And then we have my wire loom, stuff I've been using, black and red wire. And then we got more wire I had from my rock lights. Jumper cables on here, ratchet straps. Got more random stuff in here, like wire wheels, nuts and bolts, that what actually sorted, drills, and then more random hammers and such, which I have the main hammers I use over here. And then my impact sockets are right there until I get those organized. But then all my detailing stuff is in that toolbox. And let's get a turbo slapped in this. And I just realized this is a little different, so we are going to have to look at this and see. But oh, don't want to lose those. Let's put those back together like such. But this is the old turbo and how messed up it was, as you can see. One of my clamps, another clamp. Then we got, oh, we're just gonna fling everything all over the place. But my compressor housing, let me see. Then we have exhaust wheel, my turbine wheel, nope, this is my exhaust wheel. I'm wrong. I should have known, because there's a whole chunk missing out of the turbine wheel. We got seal plate, I want to say. A seal. A washer with seal or something like that. Somehow that goes together. My exhaust housing. Got a bearing thing. I don't know. I don't build turbos. If you do and you're watching this, let me know. Another bearing. Probably for the center. Like such. Got a snap ring. Hold all that together, and then I'll pick this up. That's the center plate. You can kind of see the insides of that. And here's my exhaust housing. Big bitch. And then more drain stuff. And yeah, that's all that's in the box. Really don't know how it all goes together because I don't rebuild turbos, but that's everything that puts together this whole thing. I'm gonna grab this clamp if I can. And yeah. So somehow I need to sort through all of these parts and make sure it mounts the same with that guy. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to look over everything and put the new BS Racing 472 on. Okay, so got the exhaust housing here. This is how she goes on. This side is where it pushes in. And then right here, we got the gasket on. And then this is how she will sit in there. I'm gonna need 2 hands, but put studs and the 2 nuts on. And then get the exhaust downpipe on the back on, and then yeah, let's cut to that. Dude, that one went way together. I mean, together way easier than my other one. Because it's new. Yeah, probably. Alright, it is the next day from putting that turbo in. It is fully in. You guys kind of see in the last couple of clips. But here she is. There's the turbo. We got the feed line in, the center housing, and then we got that little piece for the oil feed line. We got the clamp on for the center housing to the exhaust housing. Got the exhaust downpipe in, and then really all we got to do is grab the O-ring and get this on right, and then shove it on in there. It's gonna be easier. Put this O-ring in, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to download the tune, and then we'll start her up after we put the tune together. I'm gonna plug this in so I don't forget, but it's just a boost sensor. And then, yeah, should be ready to rip. Got Fitzgerald's in a couple of days. Messing with the exhaust right now, as you can see. Old 3 to 5 inch pipe, and then that's 5 inch all the way over, and then right there, and then we have the 5 to 6 inch tip sitting right there, and we'll clamp that girl on. And then we gotta go to O'Reilly's for the piece of pipe to come off the elbow, not the elbow, the down pipe, all the way down from, you can't really see that, but down pipe, and then next to the trans all the way down. So let's get that measured up with Jeremy, and then we will come back from O'Reilly's with that stuff ordered, and then finish the truck up, kind of. Alright, so here we have the edge plugged in with, I think that's like an Ethernet bit, and then to the computer. But as you can see in here, this is the ID speed email I got. So then he kind of explains your new programs are attached, plug the CTS3 in to the thing. And then he says, do not need to be copied to the tunes folder directly to the base. So when I talk about that, there's the backgrounds, runtime, all this stuff. You don't put it underneath a folder, which is under the CTS3. When you go to files on your computer, let's say my files, downloads, and all your other stuff, but then CTS3 is its own file. You go to that, and then you don't need to download any of this. Like the new tune files he has down here, those do not need to be downloaded in these, and if you downloaded just how these are. So go to these and hit download complete, and then this one, download. So both of these are, one is the PCM Performance, and this is the new tune, since I got the S472 in that's the old S467. Gotta get a new tune anytime you change out parts like that. So then this is the PCM tune, and then the one below it is the TCM tune. So now we'll minimize that. Go into here, My Files, Downloads. See these two brand new ones, right? Today, 453, 453. So then you drag these into the CTS3. Oh, hold on. I think it might have. Yep, right here. It dragged in just on the base. It says PCM_VX, whatever. But that's today at 453. Then we go to this one again, downloads. And then since we just did the PCM one, we do the TCM. Oh, don't do that. Drag this one down to the CTS3. Go over to the CTS3. And then now both of these files are on PCM and TCM on the edge. So now this has been saying please wait because I have the old tunes. I had to do the exact same thing because if you're watching the video, in the old videos, when my truck was messing up, it was in the tune, and this is exactly what I was doing. So as you can see, these 3 tunes are the new tunes I had to download for the edge when the truck was broken, and it's not starting when the IPR was plugged in when it was cold. I mean, it wouldn't start when the IPR was plugged in when it was hot. There's Jeremy. But now we got these two, and you literally just let all this download to the edge, wait for it to say it's like fully updated. Should be on the edge then. You plug it back on the truck, and then it should be ready. You gotta download the tune to the PCM, and then you're done. Alright, so as you can see, the edge monitor's in, and the laptop's not in here anymore. Got the turbo all in completely. Made sure this is on all the way, and the O-ring's actually in here with Jeremy's help, and then the clamps on the boot, and then it's just gonna be a straight down pipe again, but fuck it. Yeah, turbo's in. We started it twice already, downloading the new tunes, and now we're gonna pull her out and go for a first drive with the new 472. Alright, so last final update for this video. The 6.0 is done running and driving, got the turbo on. I'll pop the hood, I guess, and show you that. But truck's finally done. Drove it a bunch over the last like 2 days. Drove it like an hour and then an hour back, so 2 hours round trip. And then right now we are getting ready for Fitzgerald, so you'll see that in the next video. But so we got the turbo in. She runs. It's pretty dialed. Everything's done. I give you a sneak peek, I guess. Borrowing 26x14s for Fitzgerald's on the rig. It doesn't have death wobble anymore, but the alignment place, if you look at this bar, as you can see, that tie rod tube is bent. It goes straight over and then back to the thing. I don't know how that happened, or if it happened last Fitzgerald when this nut decided just to leave the chat. Almost would have wrecked my truck if I would have slowed down under like 80. But truck is done. Now we are gonna be cleaning it for Fitzgerald's, and I'll see you in the next video getting the girl ready for Fitzgerald's and heading down there. So thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, and hope you enjoyed.